Day started out like any other fishing trip. I loaded up my small boat, the Sea Whisperer, with tackle, bait, and a cooler packed with sandwiches and drinks. The early morning sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink as I set off from the dock, the gentle rocking of the boat lulling me into a sense of tranquility. I could almost taste the salty breeze on my lips, and the anticipation of reeling in a big catch filled my heart with excitement. As I ventured farther from the shore, the horizon darkened. It came out of nowhere, a wall of gray clouds rolling in fast, the wind shifting from a soft caress to a violent gust. I should have turned back then, but stubbornness got the better of me. I thought I could outrun the storm. But the sea had other plans. Within minutes, the sky opened up, and rain fell in sheets, blinding me. The wind howled like a banshee, and the waves grew monstrous, tossing my little boat like a toy in a bathtub. I gripped the steering wheel tightly, my knuckles white as the Sea Whisperer pitched and rolled. I fought to keep it steady, but the storm was relentless. That's when I heard it, the haunting call that pierced through the roar of the storm. It wasn't the cry of any animal I'd ever encountered. It sent a chill down my spine. I scanned the murky waters around me, squinting through the rain, and that's when I saw it. A massive shadow beneath the surface, moving closer. Before I could react, a creature burst forth from the waves, its enormous mouth agape, revealing rows of jagged teeth. I stumbled back, heart racing as I fumbled for the fishing harpoon I kept on board. I knew it was no match for what was in front of me, but desperation has a way of sharpening your instincts. With a primal scream, I hurled the harpoon. It struck the creature's snout, and it recoiled, a horrifying mix of anger and surprise flashing in its alien eyes. But the distraction was fleeting. Before I could catch my breath, a second beast emerged, a serpent-like thing with iridescent scales, twisting through the waves with unnatural grace. It lunged at me, snapping its jaws inches from my face. I scrambled back, adrenaline pumping, but there was nowhere to go. The storm raged on, the boat thrashing against the waves, and the monsters circled closer. I swung the harpoon again, but it slipped from my grasp, disappearing into the depths. Panic clawed at my throat. I grabbed the cooler and hurled it at the serpent, hoping to create a diversion. It collided with the creature's snout, momentarily stunning it. With my heart racing, I turned to the controls, desperate to keep the boat afloat. The engines sputtered, the storm shaking it violently as I fought to steer away from the grasp of the creatures circling beneath me. They surged closer, their shadows darkening the water, and I knew if they got a hold of me, it would be over. Just hold on, I muttered to myself, the words barely audible over the storm. I fought to regain control, glancing back at the approaching monsters. They were relentless, their hunger palpable, and I could see their glistening scales cutting through the water, closing the gap. Suddenly, the boat jolted violently as a wave crashed over the bow, sending a torrent of seawater cascading into the cabin. I was thrown against the side, gasping as I struggled to right myself. The monsters were now just a breath away. I could feel the cold of their presence, a malevolence that sent a shiver down my spine. In a moment of sheer instinct, I grabbed a flare gun from the storage compartment. My heart thundered in my chest as I raised it, aimed it at the largest creature, its gaping maw ready to swallow me whole. I pulled the trigger, and a brilliant red flare shot through the air, illuminating the night for a fleeting moment. The light caught the monster off guard. It recoiled, the flare burning bright against its dark, scaly flesh. I watched as the other creatures hesitated, their chaotic movements faltering as the light engulfed them. That moment of distraction was all I needed. I turned the engine up to full throttle and took off, the Sea Whisperer racing across the churning waves. I could feel the creatures following, their angry roars echoing behind me, but I pushed the boat harder, my entire being focused on escaping. As I broke through the storm's edge, the rain began to lighten, the clouds parting like a curtain. I could see the faint outline of the shore in the distance, the lights of the town flickering like beacons of hope. I didn't look back, didn't dare to. I steered towards the safety of land with every ounce of strength I had left. Finally, the boat hit the sandy bottom, and I leapt out, my legs trembling beneath me. I stumbled onto the shore, falling to my knees, gasping for air as I looked back at the water. The storm raged behind me, but I was free. I could see the monsters lurking just beneath the surface, their eyes watching, waiting. But I was no longer in their grasp. As I sat there, drenched and exhausted, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd only escaped for the moment. The sea was alive, filled with things we could never understand, things that hungered for more than just a fisherman's catch. And deep down, I knew I'd never look at the ocean the same way again. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe here on TikTok and YouTube.